Let me say this to you very directly. I'm a direct person, and let me say it to you directly because I'm very direct. I'm a very direct person, so let me say this to you very directly. Because it's a very direct thing to do to make the podcast in your house and you're separated from other people, you know. It's direct. I'm going to tell you this very directly, actually. And this is actually going to come very directly because I'm a very direct person, because I'm very candid. And I just say what's on my mind because I'm very candid. Okay, here's what's on my mind right now. Like, I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast the other day. Okay, so I'm going to relay you this story. I can't get over myself, the stories I decide to relay. Like, holy shit. It's just a thing you're saying, motherfucker. It's just a thing you're saying? Anyway, do you know about, but it's just a thing you're saying. But, like, I don't have time, you know? Fuck. Like, I don't have time. I don't have time to be, like, I don't have time to be considerate of myself. Like, that's not what this is about. This isn't about me being considerate of how I sound. There's nothing to do. I have the entire rest of my life and the rest of the world for that to be the thing. For me to consider how I sound to other people. Why are we all considering how we sound to other people? Let's start there. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? Like, how much do I dislike Trump in accordance with the rest of the world, in accordance with the way amount that you're supposed to? Because there's a certain amount that you're supposed to dislike him in order to carry on as a normal functioning member of society. Obviously. Otherwise, you're entirely right wing. You don't want to be painted as that. You're entirely a Democrat. Like, you're entirely a Democrat otherwise if you don't do that. But if you're like, no. I'm just trying to build what is entirely the other way. Democrats, they get on it, you know. Those Dems, they get real busy. Except no, like, what sexual expression to a Democrat? So, that question for you. What's sexual expression to somebody who's fully a Democrat? Like, fully. It's just, what do you want sexual expression to be? You want the world to be void of sexual expression? I don't know why. That's what I'm asking. But you know what? You might as well ask the question, right? Is there something further to be said? What did he mean by that? Like, anybody will listen, like anybody listens anyway to it. Like, not that I'm just saying, like, it's not something I'm chastising myself about. You don't need to worry about what you say. I'm tired of worrying about what I say. Like, it's dumb. You have your entire life. You can do that whenever. You can do that whenever. There's nothing valuable about that. There's nothing valuable about limiting yourself, like trying to make sure that you are to be considered by everybody all the time. You know? It's whatever. You just gotta ride that wave, you know? You just gotta be positive. I'm just like, being positive is just something that you are. Being positive is something that you are, and I have problems being positive about something if I'm just like focusing on zeroing in on a single point, because I'm not a single point of reference. I'm just relaying a single point of reference because of the entertainment format because of the thing I'm supposed to practice, you know, because of the practice that we have of listening to people through the podcast medium. Like, that is, so I have to format it for the podcast, and so therefore it comes out as I make a point of reference every single episode. That's what I do, and that's my thing, because I'm an artist, quote unquote. Like, you're an artist. Like, people are artists. Oh my God. Fuck being an artist. Always. Don't be an artist. Don't be something interesting. Like people are just walking around thinking that they're a creative genius or something because the term creative genius is at such a high status, like especially in American culture. Creative genius. That's transcendence to us. You're a creative genius. Like you can't walk around thinking that you are that, because, or like we have a problem with it the same way that you censor naked parts of your body. Like you can't be a genius or a creative genius. It's something that you're just always it's something that you're worried that you're not measuring up to. Like, what's the point? But God, as long as I focus on a point, I don't have time to explain. Like, I don't have time to explain it. It'd be really nice if I explained every single time, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be nice if I was really coherent every single time and really related my point? Like, I don't know what I'm upset about. I don't know what I'm upset about. I'm upset I'm not in like a more positive mood. I'm not grumpy. It's just, this is what. I'm not grumpy. This is what, like, I'm not a definition. Holy shit, I'm not a definition. Just like, I have to let it not be that. I can't be a defined thing. And I can't be a defined thing. I can't try to think about something I did in the past and have that be what I'm doing in the present. Obviously, I can't worry about something I did in the past and try to make that be me now, because me now can only be articulated by me now. I can't articulate it through past patterns or past traditions or whatever that of myself, or like me thinking about something I did before that maybe worked in a group or in like a gathering of people, you know, or like a way that like if I'm thinking about a pattern or a line of behavior that I've articulated before to people in the past, and I'm like, oh, that's successful, or at least that people sort of accept that, or I know that they do. I can't try to be that again because I'm only this in the present, please. I'm only this in the present always. That's the only thing I can do. I'm only this in the present, for Christ's sake. Like, can I understand? I wonder if I'll get to that point. Like, if I ever talk about on this podcast me being somebody who is trying to get to a point, I wonder if I get to a point where I'll break through it, like have it not be ironic or something like that, you know? Like, will I ever understand that I live in the fucking present and I don't live in the past? And that's the problem that I'm having. Is that not the problem I'm having? Like, I just am somebody who lives like, it's not like it's evident. It's not like, and you know, like I think it's evident to people, so then I don't need to explain it because I'm a narcissist or I'm condescending or something like that. Like I don't need to explain my points, or it's that I don't respect myself enough to say that I'm a person enough to relay a point the same way other people relay points. It's whatever. Like I don't have to be happy either. I don't have to be happy. This is me just like upset about, like, can't you just be upset about shit? I'm upset. I'm sad, you know? I'm sad right now in this moment. That doesn't mean like it has to be that bad. It's just like I understand sadness. This is what I'm doing. I'm sad because I just want to be happy and I can't. How about that? Is that a normal thing? It's not a normal thing. Accept it. Christ, because you can't be sad, you know? You can't be sad for real. Like, people don't really accept you when you're sad. Fuck it. Like, that you're not, like, what am I saying by making a podcast? I'm just saying, oh, I'm a person, by the way. Oh, by the way, I'm actually just a person. Do you know there's no formula for good? By the way, people, friends, colleagues, hey, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but there's no formula for good. There's no way that you can think your way to being that if you're already sad. Does that make sense? Like, I thought about that a few days ago. I don't even like that I'm regurgitating it like it's something that I said 3 days ago. So I have a problem saying it out loud. I'm like, oh, fuck you for saying that because it's something you already did. It's something that I already thought about, and then like I try to relay a point that I already thought about, but like maybe I just hold myself to too high a standard of living in the present all the time. But you have to relay your point, because I'm just like maybe just having trouble relaying the point is what makes me sad. So what makes me sad? What makes you sad? Like it's just what is more the world surrounds you, you're sad. People we don't have sympathy, the world. I mean, America, like, fuck sympathy for real. Like, fuck what you're sad about. We don't want the world to surround you. We want the world to surround us. Does that make sense? And no matter what you do, like anybody making a Facebook or whatever, it's just, yeah, you're a person. Like, you're just saying that you're a person, really. Isn't that what we're trying to communicate? But we just have these mediums to communicate them in. Like, hi, I'm a person, but we have these intermediary like things like that are like these mediums that we communicate it through. We have mediums rather than just being that in front of you. We communicate ourselves through mediums, but the entire point of you saying it or having a Facebook is just to say that you're a person, obviously. Like, I don't know why we can't just get to the root of that, or we overcomplicate things. Like, I don't even want to make this podcast episode anymore. Like, I just want to like go to bed or something. I don't really I just want to leave. I don't want to say anything besides that I'm a person and I want to be around another person, and like other people are like, oh, and that's amazing what you did. Like, what you said is amazing. No, it's not, actually. There's nothing amazing about anything that I say or do, because I'm just a person. There's nothing. How about that? There's nothing transcendent about anything that you do, because you're like a person. I don't want to be sad. Like, I could just be happy, though. I could just be happy. Like, what is it that's going to make me happy? Here it comes. I'm going to be happy. I hope so anyway. Oh, it's coming back down. Don't be sad. Oh, shit. No, I don't want to be sad. Because happy, faster words, more articulate, faster. Because faster, if you are faster, make the words go out, be that. Because words be out, go out. Don't you understand? Don't you want be fat? Don't you want to ride that wave, motherfucker? No, apparently I don't, because apparently is sad. No, I'm sad sack apology man. Sorry, I'm actually sad sack apology man right now. I don't want to come outside. I just want to be, why is everybody hurtful? Ha ha ha. Oh my god, it's so funny. Because it's funny to be that way, right? Isn't it funny to be sad and gloomy about like, isn't it funny to be gloomy? Fuck someone who's gloomy. Like, yeah, I told you, like, now I'm on the positive side of things. That's me relaying the message about, oh, is that okay? Did I relay the message enough? Am I an acceptable person enough to you? Oh yeah, because I have to relay the message. That's all I'm saying. I'm a person. I don't have to filter it. That's the point of a podcast. Oh my god, we arrived at an entertainment medium that you can just unfilter yourself. Why the fuck do I need to relay it to a single point or a filter? Holy shit. Oh my god, I can't. Holy fuck, I can't. I just know, like, who needs a filter? Who needs a fucking filter? Who needs a filter? Fuck a filter. Fuck a filter. Like, fuck a medium. Fuck that. Like, I don't have language will limit me. Like, language, the things that I'm trying to say to you, the things that, like, the way that I'm just trying to communicate that I'm a person, like, in a more infinite sense than in a finite sense, like, the way, like, I will inevitably be limited. Like, I am limited just by speaking it. I'm limited just by speaking it, because you can only communicate in mediums. You can only communicate in words, because words are like mediums, but a more practical, understandable way to say it is just that they're touchstones. Words are touchstones. They're like, everybody in there is nothing transcendent about calling a word a touchstone. Like, it's just, that's exactly what it is. It's a definable instance. It's a fucking definable, that's what definitions are for. Words, they're definitions. They're just touchstones for you to communicate infiniteness about yourself. duh, don't you know? But this is just a person. I don't need to filter it. But it's a nice thing. Like, it's nice if you can relay yourself better through words or be more in tune with the mediums in which you're transmuting yourself. Oh, that's nice if you can be that. Great. So that, I'm not a person. Like, I'm not a person. Like, I don't need to make an argument for being a person, you know? I don't, like, as long as I'm resonating on that I am that, like, that's what negativity is. That's what makes me feel sad about it, is that, like, oh my God, do I have to argue that I'm a fucking person? Like, why do I have to argue that I'm a person? Holy shit. I just am that, and I don't have time to not be, you know. And words do actually help me understand that. Like, words help me understand that I just live in the present. I don't have time to live in the past, you know. I only have time to be the new thing that I am right now. I only have time to be, because in my entire life, like, I just have this single time frame that I'm living in order to be myself. Like there's new things to be. There's new things to say. Why the fuck would I be what I was before? Holy shit. God, oh my God. But even that, holy shit, like, ending it with holy shit, like I'm a pattern, like I'm a comic, like, daft, like, record, holy shit, damn, fuck, Def Jam comic. Like, I'm a Def Jam comic, you know, or just like somebody who ends all their lines with the same thing. Like, you want to make it a pattern or a tradition. You're like initiating a tradition as you're doing it. Oh my God, I'm this tradition. Why the fuck would I want to be remembered or known as a tradition or have anything to say about myself? Why would I want anything to be definable about me? There's new things. But you know what? You can't just be that. You can just be like, you can't just be this. Oh, you can't just be that. You know what? You can't be everything. You can't be everything. There's everything that you can't be. I swear to God. There's everything that you can't be. That's the fucking problem. Isn't there everything that you can't be, but there's only one thing that you get to be, is like the appearance of a good mannered person. Like, when I go in and out of my apartment, like, I can't deal with that ultimately. And that's what this podcast is about. I can't deal with that. Stop making me deal with it. Like, even though that is just something that I take on myself, that is something I take, like, the weight of it, to say that is the problem, that I am asked to be some sort of performer in a reality, you know, even though I do take that on myself, but that's what reality is. It's like, that's how you practice the collective consciousness of the country. That's how you practice the consciousness. That's how you have practice in practicing it all, in order to have, so you have the tradition of being an American, like. But, like, my words are, why do I have to argue that I'm a person? I don't have time. Like, I don't have, like, if I'm belaboring a point, I don't even allow myself to belabor a point, you know, because I don't have time, because I have new things to be. Like, that's all that it is. Like, I have new things to be, you know. There's nothing negative about that. What is negative is resonating yourself, remembering yourself. What's negative is remembering yourself. Is it not remembering yourself to be something in order to live in the past, understanding yourself to live in the past? Because that would be sad. It is sad to think of yourself in the past when you only live in the present. Of course, that's sadness. Duh. Okay, so sadness, that's sadness for you. Okay, so let's move on. What do we got? What else do we got? Positive. You know? But you know what? You can't relay this message this way because, oh, you're on drugs, or you're on some crazy drugs, or he's just a lunatic. What a nut, you know? Is how easy are you written off into obscurity forever if somebody deems you to be too much of a lunatic. He didn't articulate his words. Like, he didn't articulate his words enough. We didn't understand the medium in which he transmitted himself well enough. It didn't reach us exactly how we wanted. So sorry. So he's actually a lunatic, as agreed upon by all of us. Ha ha ha. He's just a lunatic, like, because of what we said, you know. He's just because of what we understand him, but like, so then you do take that on if you understand yourself to be a lunatic from other people's perspectives. That's what I'm saying. Like then you are then you are just living through the possible perceptions of you, when there are, like, infinite possible perceptions of you. But you don't make it so that you're living through other, like vision through other people seeing you. Like, don't make it so that, God, like, don't make it so that you have to be like a appearance. What the fuck? I just want to slow down. I don't I don't have attention. I don't have the attention span to like focus on a topic for that long. Don't ask me to be that. Like, don't ask me to be attention. Like, oh, I have to pay attention every single minute of my life in order to escape the designation of that I have attention deficit disorder. I have to pay attention to somebody every minute of my life. Otherwise, I can't pay attention. Who is attention to be paid to? Could I ask that question? Who's at what attention at what time, when, as defined by who attention do I need to pay to whoever? If I have attention deficit disorder as defined, the tradition that we carry on, the tradition as Americans. That's a fun tradition that we have, isn't it? Like just a collective a term that we've all agreed upon. It's a tradition. It's a carrying out, it's a remembering that we do. It's a remembering that's kind of fun, that we remember people that way. We already put them behind us because we just define them to be attention deficit disorder, and that's just what they are. Oh, they're a person that can't pay attention, and so they're not really a person, right? But it's because they can't pay attention. Oh, they can't pay attention. What is that? Because there's people that can't pay attention. And also, don't ask like, I can't pay attention. If I can't pay attention, there's nothing that concerns you about. Like, there's nothing that you can control about. Like, that's the entire essence of the properties of the word is attention, is to say, like, it's the entire property of the word. Like, authority, like that you have the authority of what it means to tell other people what needs to be attended to, that you have authority, like attention needs to be paid. Like, it doesn't concern you. My attention doesn't concern you, obviously. So what, like, I'm talking about, so I would be talking to the authority that decides that. God, I hate explaining myself. You know that? I hate it. That's my problem. Like, I can't. Could you just be a person, though? Could you just be a relatable? Like, could you just relate it? Fucking. I can't. Do you know my problem? Like, my problems are probably just really evident to other people. Like, the real practical issues with, like, problems wrong with me. Like, that I can't, like function things I can't, ends I can't meet in life just because of the limitations of who I am as a person. Like those are probably evident. Like, the practical things are probably pretty evident, right? Like that oh, yep, I just have a problem living in the present, and now I got it, and I'm sad because now I'm not on my point. Sad sack apology, man. I'm sad sack apology, man, if I want to be. God, like, and sometimes it's just like, oh, fuck this life I'm living. Like, also, like, fuck this life I'm living. Like, isn't there something better than this? But there is. That's the whole point. There is, but you have to just recognize that you're a person, But I can't say all of this without, like, people have to understand it through that I'm some sort of identity, unfortunately, because that's how we understand things, Fuck, like, the way, because that's just a primitive way of understanding people. I would say is you have to look at them through some sort of filter, through an identity that you attribute to them. But you know what? Hey, everybody is actually just a person. You don't need to make it that they're in a group or a part of an identity, ultimately. Does that make sense? I have a problem. Like, I have problems, but like, but what do I need to, but let me articulate my point. Let me explain my point. Articulate, articulate. Holy shit. Like, everybody likes to use the word articulate because it's a really obvious next step word to use for what you're trying to do when you're explaining yourself. Like, communicate, then articulate. But why is it that I have to communicate monotone whenever I'm doing, like, a certain way of explaining things? Like, why do I have to do monotone? I don't understand it. Like really, I don't understand why I talk so monotone all the time. But, like, it'll be for a certain thing. It'll be like explaining, but that's just a way that I identify myself. That's a way that I'm trying to be accepted. Oh, maybe that's an acceptable identity. But ultimately, it's just like, what I'm doing is artistic. because it's artistic. I mean, you're artistic at all if you're understood through mediums, aren't you? Fuck it. Like I'm tired. I'm tired of explaining like I'm tired of explaining like I'm just a person. That's what I'm saying. I'm through all this. It's just like I'm a person. I'm sorry for when I fucked up and didn't say the point. But I do want to get back around to this whole thing about attention because that's an interesting thing. That's an interesting one, isn't it? That one stands out. The people that we do this about attention because that's fun to break down what's going on there when you call people attention. There's nothing different about my opinion of it. It's just a better one because you know that it's true, that it's stupid to ask people to pay attention. Like, and sorry that I'm condescending, that I know like I'm condescending enough to say, because if you're not, you should have been worried about condescendence like this, you know, for anybody listening, for anyone listening at all, the condescendence, like I'd love to explain that I'm condescending enough to tell you that the identity, the image that you're putting forward of me having to be somebody who pays attention to you or be a performer, like that is fucking, what are you doing? Like there's real things in the world. There's reality to be had. There's life to be lived. Rather than me be a performer and me be the person that gives you attention. Like that's the entire essence of calling somebody to have attention deficit disorder, or making it so that you're a simp enough to be a bitch under the label. Like I'm not going to be a bitch under a label, but being a simp is kind of like being under a label. But like archetypally the ultimate level of that. Like it's just talking about being a bitch, isn't it? Like, but it's just like more submissive, like the subjective, you're just like, you are only understanding yourself subjectively that you're a bitch, that kind of thing. Like you only understand yourself passively you're a simp, you know? You can't be active about it. You're like, then you're simp, like, awful. But like there's only life to be lived if you understand that it keeps going. Like I can't just be fuck it, like I can't just like I don't like relaying a point, or I don't like, God, I hate it, you know? Like things are actually happening though. Like things are actually happening. Like I don't have to worry about the way that I sound in the moment, is what I'm saying. I don't have to worry about the way that I sound now because things are actually happening though. Like, so it doesn't matter what clothes I was wearing, like the identity that I was. So this is happiness, you know? So, but things are actually happening. Like I don't have time to explain. I don't have time to get bogged down worrying about other people that give people labels about needing to pay them attention because they just want to be controlling and manipulative, you know? But good thing I'm condescending enough, or like I imagine I'm insecure, condescending enough. I'm insecure enough to imagine myself to be condescending or above you, because it is insecure to be condescending. Yes. Yeah, it is insecure to be condescending. Absolutely. Oh, is that a problem for you? Sorry. It's not my fault that the secure people want to manipulate and control the world to tell the insecure that the insecure don't actually have the authority to imagine themselves to be the most condescending people. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that I'm condescending. I'm sorry. Sorry that I am condescending. This is exactly, I can't stop. That's the only way that I be. That's the only way that I am. That's the only way that I exist, or know that I'm existing in the present. Do you want me? Because there's some people that have to exist through understanding themselves to be condescending. You know that? Because you're just, but you have to stop in order to be like a relatable person. Like, he was talking about something coherent there for a minute. But like he was just like saying, but it's not like you don't have to stop to relay your point because that makes you look stupid, doesn't it? No, I mean, whatever. Like being a meme. That's what I was saying before. Let me just get back to what I was saying before this disruption of communication started. Like, fuck the disruption of communication. I want to be positive. I want to stay fun. I don't need to relay or explain myself. Fuck explaining myself. Like, this is just ecstasy, like jubilant expression of positivity that you get, you know? Like, it's nothing like, fuck the word jubilant, honest to God, fuck it to hell. Like, but we use these words like jubilee always always curse it to hell, like roast in hell jubilee, please. Roast in hell. Anybody who uses that word, yes, thank you. Thank you. Anybody who uses that word, please roast in hell. Go to hell. Like, be isolated for all of eternity, whatever it means for you to be in hell. Like, be in eternal damnation for using the word Jubilee. That's what I'm saying to you. That's what this is about. If you use the word Jubilee, go to hell always. Isn't that like fucking like because I wanted to relay my point. I don't remember the point that I was trying to relay anyway. But you can't just be garbled, whatever, like just incoherent, scatterbrained. You can't be scatterbrained. Otherwise people are like, oh, you're a lunatic. But you know what? Go ahead. Like, it's just like, whatever. Like, if we're all just trying to be a person. I'm just saying I'm a person. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to accept that this is a person. Like, you don't have to, if the only way that you can accept things is to understand it through a more definable filter rather than that I'm just this guy. Like, I'm even giving you the definition for you to accept. Here I am. I'm just a person. I'm just a person. Like, I don't care. This is a meme. You're a meme. You're a meme if you're more patterned. Like, if I continue, that's what I was saying before. If I continue the dialogue, like the train of thought that I'm just a guy angry at people or angry at myself for being sounding like a computer. Like, of course I sound like a computer. I'm just a person. Like, I'll be something, I'll be something. Like, you get, like, why would you get mad at who you are in the past or anything? Why would you get mad at that? Like, because you don't want to be, you want to understand that you are also a person. Like, you don't have to hold yourself, but that's the entire nature of my character. I hold myself to high standards. Holy shit. Like, I hold myself to high standards. I hold other people to high standards. There's like the standard, higher standard, like that things are ambitious in life, that things are to be ambited, I don't know, that things are ambitious in life. That's the essence of my character. This is me arguing with myself, this is me arguing if I want to relay it to the audience, oh, this is me arguing with myself. I don't really have the capacity to stop for a minute. Fuck being a lunatic, honestly. Fuck being a lunatic. Ooh, boom. Ooh, wow, I can't believe he said it. Whoa, he said it. Fuck being a lunatic, like, that's means something. Fuck a lunatic, like, it's just a word. Like, it's just a word that we hold to now at this era in humanity. Like, it'll be shit in 20 years. Like, a lunatic, oh, what the fuck, I have no authority. Words have authorities at different points in time, the same way civilizations do. Like, they have authorities, they rise and fall. We ingest them as a entirely humanity. We ingest a word, like we rob it of its authority or its dignity, like when the word random comes around, like, we're like, ooh, random, what a great word to use, and then everybody uses it forever. We totally just ingested that word and then we shit it out the other end. Like, fuck you, random. We're like, oh, don't even use that in conversation. Like, oh, random. Because what we initially did when we saw it coming on the horizon, what we initially did with random when we saw it coming on the horizon, we're like, oh, there's something special about that word. It's intriguing. I wonder what random means. And then we ingested it and shit it out the other end as if it didn't mean anything, the same way that anything gets ingested, like that you are, the same way that anything happens that way. You see a word, but humanity is constantly seeing words as like on the horizon. They're like, ooh, that's a new one. And then we ingest it and we break it down metabolically into we understand and digest its, like, the constituent parts about it. We break it down to its constituent, like, important essential elements about itself. And then we shit it out the other end as long as we don't have use for it anymore. Bye, random. We don't need you. Bye, random. We don't need you, random. Duh, we don't need random. Obviously, we don't need random humanity. Fuck it. Do you know about this body? But is there anything to be said about anything anymore? Or is that just me? Is there anything to be said about anything anymore? Or is there... Because I do have words to say, because I do have words to say, don't I? Are you listening to the words that I have words to say? I'm an argument too. So then that's what social media is. But I am. But what about the thing that is me? What about this person that is me? Did you understand the identity, the definable instance me? Like you're definable, but the argument that I'm having is that here I am on Twitter. Like the argument that I am is that I exist on Facebook. That you have to understand me as this. I'm just like I'm positive about it. Like I'm positive about that's funny. That's funny. Isn't it funny that people do their Facebook thing? Oh, I love your Facebook person that you are. Oh, I love it. I love that. Like I love that thing that you oh, I love it. Obviously. Oh, I love it. I love that. I love that you appear this way. Like that's appearance culture. Appearance culture, man. But like I'm not talking about like, oh, it's not a critique on anything. Like if somebody was reviewing this podcast, like, but I'm just talking about that everything gets reviewed and is like any podcast that you would do, like any entertainment that you put forward, any content you make, like if it's noticeable in any way, people are reviewing it. And oh, it's a critique on this about culture. Like calling it a critique, you already robbed it of its dignity. Like it doesn't, the point is to not define what it is. The point is that I'm not to be defined as a person. Duh. Like, duh. This is not, there's nothing finite about me. Is that interesting to you? There's nothing critique. I'm not critiquing about something. I'm not aiming myself in a direction in a derivative pattern so that other people can digest it easier, obviously, but there's nothing like interesting or authoritative about me saying that. I don't need to explain myself. Like I don't have time. There's nothing. I'm just losing the point because I just lose the focus because I just like because I lose the focus. What was I saying? I'll get back to it. Just give me time. You just got to be patient. You just got to be patient with what you just got to be patient because sometimes I like, oh, do we have patience for people? Obviously people have patience for people. Don't say that to yourself. You know what? I'm not going to pay attention. Like I'm not going to pay attention to the authorities that tell me I need to pay attention. Like you have to be paying attention at all the times, no matter what, in order to escape the labeling of attention deficit. Otherwise, because those are the rules, that's the qualification. You have to be what's the qualification of it? Like you have to your entire life you have to be paying attention to somebody your entire life. Otherwise, you have to be paying attention to somebody your entire life. Otherwise, you fall under the label. Sorry that you weren't perfect. You weren't able to escape. You weren't able to entirely, perfectly, absolutely not pay attention to other people. Sorry that you paid attention. Sorry that you looked over the people that just want you to look over at them. That's the people who create the term attention deficit disorder. The people that just want you to look at them, like to give you attention because they want attention is under my jurisdiction. Actually, the property, the idea, paying attention should be paid to me. Paying attention should be paid to me is the authority on, but fuck that authority is also the point that I'm saying. Fuck the authority. Let's ingest that and goodbye. Fuck calling somebody an ADD. I don't have time for that. I don't have time, like me, myself, I'm not going to discriminate who has ADD, like, or who doesn't. Oh, what the fuck? Like I wish that I could stop doing this podcast. I wonder if it sounds coherent, and I wish that I could just stop, but it has to be an hour. It has to be an hour long. It has to be an hour. It has to be an hour or else it's not a podcast. Hey, it has to be an hour long. It has to be at least an hour or else then what is it? Because we still have rules on podcasting as much as I want there to not be rules. I want there to be an entertainment medium that is void of rules and void of filters. That's the dream. That's what dream is. That's what dream is. Thank you. That's what dream is. That's what pop music, like, that's what emulating, like faking a image for something. What am I saying? That's just respect yourself enough to deliver the point. Like, it came from somewhere. Don't you have patience enough to articulate the point that you're saying, you dumb fuck? Don't you have words to say what you're saying? Or can you not be attention paying? Oh, sorry. I bet it would help to pay attention now, wouldn't it? Ooh, yeah, I bet it would help to pay attention now. That's the attention side. That's the attention authorities. They're getting the best of me because they win this time, They win this time because I can't pay attention. Because I can't pay attention. But that's like what? And so I lose the train of thought. What's up? Here I am, like, there's just reality to be lived. I love that there is that, then I love that things continue and that I don't have to be defined as just like my Facebook profile or something stupid, something identifiable. Isn't it stupid that you would understand? Like, isn't it stupid that I would see my life as being that when I'm clearly not, like, definable? Like, people aren't definable. You adapt to infinite situations, like, is my argument. That's just an argument. He's talking, he sounds like, but it's just something, it's just a sound. It's just a way that you sound. I'm just a person arguing, like, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. The stakes aren't that high. I can lose an argument. I can be wrong because I'm just a person. You can declare me out. He's a lunatic. I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's fair. If I was a person, if I really was a person, if I'm standing by that I am a person, if I stand by that argument, I have to be a person and accept that other people will be like, oh, you're shit. Like, yes, I am shit. Like, I'm shit. I'm whatever you want to make it. I'm awful. I'm garbage. Like, be that. But it's nothing bad about it. It's just that happy and sad are happy and sad. Like, there's nothing more. It's just happy is more happy and sad is more sad. There's nothing, like, better about either one of them. Sad just happens. Sad happens. Like, people get called shit. Like, people are condescending. People are mean. Like, people put other people below them. Like, shit happens. Like, that's obviously sadness. Like, you have to feel sad about something in order for there to be happy. You have to be somebody who's put below and made to be some sort of bitch, Otherwise, what, you don't ever get to understand what it means to make somebody your bitch, This is just like, and so this is a regular Thursday to me. This is a regular Thursday. But I'm just a person, obviously. Just say, I'm telling you, I'm arguing. Everybody make a podcast too. Everybody make a podcast. Just say your things, say your thoughts. Obviously, aren't we mature enough as a species, as a culture, a society, whatever? Aren't we mature enough to say that? Are we mature enough to recognize that we can just say whatever is going on in our brain? Like, and that should be an acceptable thing, or we don't need to be accepted for it. You don't need to be accepted or understood to be a certain pattern, obviously, because that is immaturity. That's immaturity, is to say that you have to be accepted as a definable thing in order to be, because it's immature to think. It's immature. It's like, that's what I would say. It's immature to think that. That's my argument. Did you hear what I said? Did you hear my argument? This is all, like, I'm just here in front of you. I also want to have sex. Like, I also want to have sex and just be a person, like, oh, I'm attracted to other people, Like, oh, that? I'm just that. I'm just a person, like, attracted to, like, yeah, oh, the person, yeah, other people, person attracted, sex have, yeah. Like, whatever. Just be that. So, that's my argument. It's really polished. But you have to polish yourself in order to be identified. Like, I have to make myself out to be, like, smart, computery man in order to understand myself, to be accepted by other people. And that's why I do it. There's a reason for it. Do you have the patience enough to understand? Like, do you have the patience enough to accept why you might do something? Like, do I have patience? No, I don't have patience. Like, I'm making fun of an American culture. Like, calling American culture is all this impatient. Calling American culture impatient is basically what I'm saying. I'm impatient too. I don't have the patience to understand why I might do something. Like, I don't have the patience to do that. I can't forgive myself. Like, but whatever. Like, I can't. Sorry. I don't want to forgive myself, and don't call me like, oh, he can't forgive himself. Like, that's a identity that I'm supposed to be, a guy that can't forgive himself. Yeah, that's just a guy. That's just a person. Whatever. I'm not going to, like, that's just a trait. I'm saying that's a trait the same way somebody's adaptable or funny or like, or whatever. God, I'm retarded. I'm retarded. I am retarded. Honest to God. I'm so retarded that I would even do this and say this because people are retarded. Like, I'm retarded, man. I'm retarded, man, now. I go retarded. I go dumb. Shit. Oh, shit. I go dumb. I go retarded. Damn. Oh, shit. I go retarded. I go dumb. I'm retarded, man. Damn. Damn, retarded man gets so retarded. Shit. Like, he's so retarded. I can't believe how retarded he gets. I can't believe how retarded man gets, dude. He's just like at a whole nother level. Like, he's so retarded. He's so retarded, dude. Like, I don't care what you say. He's retarded. Like, he's really retarded. I don't care what you say. He's so retarded, dude. Like, he's so retarded, man. Dude, I don't care what you say. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, he's one of the most. He's so retarded. Like, can I get over it? Move on. Like, thinking about yourself as being somebody to remember yourself. Oh, I'm somebody who remembers me. I'm just the kind of person who remembers who I am. That's entirely what you're doing anytime that you're like, I'm this. Yeah, okay, thanks for being that, for telling me. Thanks for telling me what you are. Thanks for telling me what you are. Thanks. Because it surrounds me, you know? Oh, it surrounds me what I feel. Rather than that you're just feeling it and living it. It surrounds me. That's you being sad, but it's okay to be sad. Like, you can be sad, you can hate yourself. You can hate yourself, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, hating yourself isn't an absolute. It's not an absolute, like, oh, that's a person you can't be, because it's not something that we can understand, apparently. We can't get over that somebody would hate themselves. Like, oh, he hates himself. Well, like, that's just like you're adaptable, or you're like whimsical. Like, oh, has a clever wit. Like, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Like, I'm saying to you, it's the same thing. Like, duh. It's just hating yourself. He's a hate himself kind of guy. Like, depressed, whatever. Oh, like, being depressed has to be you're in this entire different world out by yourself. Because we can't do anything about him because he's a depressed person. Do you understand the point I'm making? Like, I don't want to sound insensitive, because I am insensitive and I'm kind of condescending or whatever. I'm just an emotional liver. Duh. I choose condescension. I choose condescension always. Yeah, because I'm a man. Because I condescend. Yeah, because I condescend always. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No. But yeah, do you want to be a man? You can't just like say that you're a man. You can't be like in society, like you can't say, oh, I'm a man. Like, oh, society, did you know that I'm attracted to being a man? Obviously. Does that clear it all up for you? Like, sexually or not, or is practically, physically, emotionally? Thanks. You're welcome for that. So it lasted an hour, and then close it up, because end presentation, it lasted an hour. please end the presentation now. I want to talk about that, like, government, like philosophy, Americans, politics. You know, as long as I have your attention. You listen to me for an hour, I have your attention, you know that? If you listen to me for an hour, I have your attention. You listen to me for an hour in a row, like, you're my bitch. If you listen to me for an hour in a row, why are you listening to me? This is just my dick saying, like, this is what my dick does. It's just like, you know that? Whatever. If I want to be condescending, like, judgmental, like, you know, if I want to be condescending, then I just am condescending. Dude. Like, why won't you just accept it? But, dude, just accept what you are. I can't, like, anyway, go to sadness, remember whatever. Sadness, because there's sadness time for you. Be sad again. You know, because sad comes and then it just, like, makes it so that you don't have an argument. Fucking sad. You don't even have an argument when you're sad. Do you understand that I'm actually just sad, like, for real? Is that, oh, he's pretending it's like a performance? like it's art. Because it's art. Can I just be sad? I want to be, this is the sad podcast, be an hour of me sad every week. This is a sad podcast, I'm sad. I'm sad, like, you can make anything a podcast, do you know that? Like, boom, podcast, like, anything you just said, like, you just record it. Just record anything that you did for 2 seconds, like, boom, podcast, like, I just made a peanut butter jelly, it's a podcast. Like, I just, in that time frame, you know, as long as I was, just record it, podcast, boom. There's, like, nothing, you can drive to work, podcast. I am driving to work and I recorded myself because that's what everything is, record yourself now. Why don't you just record yourself for other people? That's the whole point of it. Why don't you just record? Why don't you just, oh, well, what if you just recorded what you said? Like, what if you just recorded that and then were that for other people to hear? What if you just recorded the hour of you yourself, and then that was for other people to hear? What if you recorded it? Duh. Like, fucking duh. Does anybody understand? I'm talking to you from a positive train of thought. Like, that's the entire point. I'm happy about this. Like, so I don't know what I'm, like, angry about. Duh. Fuck. People are retarded. Like, yo, retarded man gets so retarded, doesn't he? How retarded does retarded man get? Isn't he, like, the most? Isn't he the furthest that of anybody? Doesn't he go, like, way further at being that? He's so retarded. Like, why is retarded man, like, how does he do that? Wow, I can't believe how do you get that ability to be that retarded? Like, how did he become so retarded man? He's so retarded, dude. I just, like, wonder if I was that retarded, but, like, if I was that, it's just, like, I can't believe retarded man. Like, how does he do that? Like, can I just be retarded? Thanks. Art performance end. Like, there has to be a moral. Fuck morals, please, always. Fuck morals. Doesn't need to be any. My life is not a moral. Don't take anything away from me. I'm just a person. Cautionary tale. He's a cautionary tale. No, I'm not. Well, that's a cautionary tale. You could, whatever he's doing, you end up on that path. You sound like that. You sound like that guy. There's a cautionary tale right there. You sound like there's a cautionary tale. By the way, I just wanted to stop for a second. To tell you all, pilfer. The word pilfer, like, because this is me just acting as, like, a child who wants attention or something. Because I do want attention, right? That's the whole point. Be sad. You do want attention. You can't just be above it. You can't just be above wanting attention all the time. Isn't that is part of the character that I play, or is it just that I am being that, you know? Whatever the fuck. course I want attention, you know. I want to tell you that I want to stop, you know. I want to relate my point. I want to relate my point. This doesn't end, by the way. This doesn't end. Oh, here, end. Nope, it doesn't end. That's a fucking point. It doesn't end. Life doesn't end. You just continue being a person. There's no formatted. You don't need to understand other people through a medium or through an identity. There's no boop, it ended. And then, so why are we goodbying to each other? Go fuck a goodbye always. Fuck a goodbye always, honestly. Like, that's my honest opinion. I don't want to say goodbye to you ever. Don't make me pay attention to you to say goodbye to you. Go fuck yourself. Like, I'm not gonna, like, goodbye. Duh. Of course, I'm not gonna say goodbye. Wow, retarded man gets really retarded. That's just retarded man. He's just being, like, retarded man doesn't end. I don't end. Like, I have to be definable to something. What am I saying? I stopped my train of thought to tell you that. Here's what I respect myself enough to tell you that. Here's understand me to be an identity. Here it is. This is something that I communicate to you because I not needed. Here's what I explain about my life. Something that is interesting to me. Here it comes. Something that is interesting to me. Here it is. I like that. Here it comes. Here is me explaining what is interesting to me about something that I understood. Here's me learning about here's me understanding that other people learn about. Other people learn about me through understanding, learning, through understanding each other, learning. Each other, we get learned by each other's presences. Always we're learning through each other's experiences, learning. Other people learn that me explain as this, only explain. Here it comes, explanation from my life. Explanation from my life is this. And here's the explanation from my life. It's that pilfer is like you want to differentiate what pilfer means besides it being steal. Besides like thievery, obviously. Of course I'm a person. Like, of course I'm a person, you know. Of course I'm a person. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Of course I'm a person. This is me delivering a point, you know, I'm talking about that to me, and it just sounds like incomprehensible gibberish, and I know that. I'm just talking about that to me. It's like I can't explain myself because that just is that's antithetical to who I am. Explaining myself. It's antithetical to who I am. It's a joke to me. It's not that other people are like, I make it so that other people are laughing because that's just like the essence of what I make it to be. Like, I don't, other people should laugh at me trying to explain myself. Like, I try to identify myself. There's nothing sad about that. Oh, he has problems explaining it. Like, yeah. Like, this doesn't end and then time goes on and then reality. That's the whole point. Time goes on always. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that I am something. You can't define me to be that. I can't define myself to have this problem of not being able to explain the point, you know, it doesn't matter. But anyways, here's the point that I want to explain to you because I have problems stopping, obviously, because that's a limitation of my character. I have problems stopping. That's a limitation of my character. I have a problem. This is just a character. This is just a person. That's just a pattern. I'm a pattern. That's all I'm saying to you. Did I say the point? Did I argue it? Did I argue? Whatever. Point. Attention can't pay attention to the focus to the point, because what is attention to be paid to be this thing that I'm saying? Because it's stupid. The thing that I remembered, I know it. I know that it's stupid. It's antithetical to me to say that there's value, and like that's hypocritical even. Like, of course I am to be laughed at. I understand myself to only ever be laughed at from if I understand myself to be from the past, but that is just understanding yourself to live in the past. That is you not making it so that you condescend, like live actively, understand yourself to live in the present and live yourself through your personification of yourself, you know? You can't, but like, it's not my fault that I'm limited by words. It's not my fault that I'm limited by words to explain it. Like, I gotta explain who I am, but it doesn't end. But this is just me recording the argument I have about what I am. Here it is, recorded for you. But, and as long as you're not like, oh, awful, then you can maybe you engage in it with at least the slightest amount of patience to say, oh, maybe it's not just one thing, like he's only a lunatic, like then you're like, oh, I guess he's just like this pattern or whatever. It's nothing to be afraid of. Like it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just this pattern. Here you can accept me. I'm retarded, man. Like accept it. I'm retarded, man. Always don't you just say what you are. Say what you are to people. You're not an artifice. People, don't be an artifice to other people. Say what you are. Don't be behind something. Don't be behind curtains about what you are. Don't be an artifice. Don't be an art project of a person. Don't be an apology. Don't be something that you're working up the gears towards to be. Like, don't be that kind of a person. Don't make it so that you're always trying to be something. Oh, I'm really formulating my way to an identity. Yay. Like, shut up. Like, shut the fuck up. No one wants that. But, like, if I understand myself to be identified that way, like, that's me saying that that's what's positive about life. What's positive about life is that people could understand me to be passive and below them, and that I don't articulate exactly who I am, and I carry on more as an artifice than as a person. If I just understand myself to be more who I was in the past, or if I understand, I'm just saying, like, if I understand myself, let me say the point to you, like, let me explain as a person, because I have trouble stopping and I didn't get back to what I was going to say about stealing. Like a year, and then then it's gone, and then whatever that, like, stopping to say that it was there is gone. Then stopping to say that it was there is also gone. This is a person. Is this a person or no? Is this a person or no? Like, it's yes or no. Do you accept it? This is a person, or no, you don't. This is just like this is a person. Did you understand that? Did you understand that this is a person? Like, there for you, please. Thank you. This is what? This is had be. Only this, always in front of you. Be accepting or don't. It's whatever then I carry on. It's whatever. Okay, so what I'm telling you about what is antithetical to my character to stop and explain, but even though that's just like a performance, you know that? Antithetical to your character. You're a moron. It's not antithetical. Nothing's antithetical to you to stop and explain something. Asshole. Stop being an ass. Stop being a dick. Why won't you let yourself explain the point? Asshole. Like, you always have to be this mean, condescending person. Why do I have to be condescending? Like, is that all it is? Am I just like a condescending person? But then I just like worry about sounding like a condescending person. Oh God, am I just condescending? Fuck. Oh no. I'm retarded. Like, I'm retarded, man. Like, thank you. Thank you for it. You're welcome. Thank you. I'm retarded, man. Always be. Thank you for retarded man. Always be. Had this. It doesn't end. Like, that retarded man doesn't end. Do you understand? Retarded man continues. Do you want more retarded man? Come back to my podcast. Come back and listen. Hey, if you listen to this podcast, like, dude, that means a lot. Like, oh yeah, it means a lot. You know, if there's anything better than just being like, oh, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like, fuck you for making it a thing. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. Like, fuck you for listening to me. I'm sorry. Like, am I condescending? I'm a mean person. Is that funny? That I'm condescending, just like condescending, I isolate like the only people that would even listen to me, then I isolate them because of condescending. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Be a nice guy. Be nice to your audience. Be nice. Pay attention. You have to stop and focus and pay attention. You have to listen. You have to listen to what your audience is saying. I don't have to listen. Like, this is me. So I'm retarded, man. Like, I don't want to listen. It just keeps going. Sorry. Anyway, sorry about that. Is this not this? And then if you listen to this whole thing, and then you're like, you just carry on in your life. Like, obviously, like, you listen to this whole thing, and like, people listen to this whole thing, and they'll just carry on in their life because that's just what they do. Like, people just listen to a thing, and then they move on. There's nothing transcendent about Joe Rogan. You know that? There's nothing. He's not like, what's behind the curtain? Nothing. He's just Joe Rogan. Like, he doesn't have some power because he smoked DMT. Like, it's funny. Why don't just do a DMT if you're that worried about it? Like, just do DMT if you're that freaked out about what Joe Rogan's got going on. Like, do you know he's just a person? But that's all that he's saying. Like, that's the reason why he has the audience he does, is because he just is like, oh, I'm just a person. Like, he doesn't, like, stuff rolls off of him because, like, he's like, I'm a monkey, you know, Joe Rogan, like. But we're like, oh, Joe Rogan. We're like, what's Joe Rogan doing? Like, what's that primate doing? You know, what's that monkey doing? Like, Joe Rogan, like, what's this monkey doing? Like, he's just saying he's a monkey. Oh, what's that? That's interesting. There's like gather where it's like energy gathers around that for some reason. Energy gathers around him being just a guy. I don't know. Like, just be attractive. Don't you want to be attractive rather than repel other people with the shit that you're saying? Like, you're just like repellent. Either you're repellent or you're attractive. Like, you're repellent or you're attractive. This is just sorry if this, like, whatever. Sorry, whatever. You can't do anything about that. Can't do anything about this. This is this. Like, I can't pay attention to you. Sorry that I'm a person. Like, if you have a problem with it, I'm saying that's just the person. That's me. That's me understanding the audience to listen to it and then tell me that they're like somebody who has a problem with what I'm saying. Monotony, explain because I don't want to explain, because as long as I'm explaining, I might as well do it monotonous because I'm a computer. As long as I'm explaining, obviously that's the identity that I want to explain myself to be, the explaining person to be. Obviously, fucking obviously, because I'm just this guy. Fucking what? Because I can't, like, there's nothing to focus on. Like, what's to be focused on? What attention do I need to pay to you? What's to be focused on? What attention? What? Sir, for what do I have to listen to? Like, to you? To you I have to listen? Oh, but I don't though. But I just, like, I'm over here not listening to you is the problem. Like, I'm over here being this rather than saying that attention is to be paid, and that there is understandably this whole reality that you engage in where you say that attention is to be paid or whatever. Like, that's the platform, that's the performance, that's the theatrical thing that you're showering in my direction to say is a reality. Oh, but also here I am saying I don't care about that reality. I don't care about, don't call me attention deficit. Like, I just, like, you can call it whatever. You can be that. It's not, I'm above it. Sorry, I'm condescending. I don't care about your reality. I don't care about who. Call yourself ADD. Whatever the fuck. I don't care. I'm not saying there's anything good or bad about you for being ADD. Obviously, be ADD. Just do it. Just fucking be ADD. For Christ's sake. Why did you not do it already? Why are you not ADD? Why are you not ADD? ADD. He is ADD. He is ADD. He's just like, he is ADD. Just give them, it's just a universal general term to superimpose over people, box to put them in. ADD. They just, like, they don't pay attention to me. They don't pay attention to me. They don't speak to me like the way they don't speak when spoken to. Like, they're just like, they don't listen. They're you know, like, just this attention shit. It's bullshit. I'm telling you, it's bullshit to say that attention is to be paid to you, to call a group of people ADD. Sorry, like, that's the platform that's what that's the reality I'm showering in your direction. Dude, I'm above it. Also, there's me over here. Not attention, dude. I don't want to be that. Dude, I'm not attention. Sorry, because I don't understand. My reality is also true. I don't understand that that's even a thing. I'm retarded, man. Like, obviously I'm retarded, man. Retarded man is going to continue being what he is. Like, you can't superimpose. You can't superimpose You can't superimpose like you can't superimpose this word on me, like just like to say that that's what I am, as to define to be one thing. It doesn't end, I just keep talking. This is a mind. A mind keeps going. It's not formatable or presentable to you. Do you know that a person is not formatable? They're not like a creative genius or an artist. Do you know that? Fuck art. Fuck being a. Did you know that? Like, did you know that? Like, fuck being that. Fuck that designation. Fuck that designation. Like, people aren't to be understood through identifiers. People are just people. They continue on. They have new things to say. There isn't anything to be remembered about me. There isn't anything to be remembered about me. You remember it. Remember who he was. Like, fucking, it's not. I'm not to be remembered. Don't remember me. Don't remember me. Don't forget forget what I did. Forget what I did. Is that okay? Does that get you through it? Forget what I did. Actually, just forget what I did. Just keep talking. I like when you talk. Okay, well, as long as you just like what I like, as long as you just like what I'm saying, there's also like cabinets, and like there's also cabinets you can understand, like, oh, how am I related to a cabinet, if you want to be that. As long as you're just listening to what my reality is, as long as you're just listening to what I'm saying, then I will tell you, like, oh, do you know that math is like, and it's like math is it distributed universally through. Do you know that math is like not to be understood finitely? Like it's understood, it should be understood universally, like as distributed through, like it's just a language in comparison to other languages. But you wouldn't like. I'm just saying, as long as it's part of my reality. Like, as long as you're just listening to what I'm saying, as long as I'm recording myself, hey, do you know that you can see yourself as being related to a cabinet if you want? Like I'm retarded, man. I'll say retarded things. Like, this is just me saying things. Do you know that? Is that acceptable? That's the most palatable way that I can communicate it to you. That's the most break the fourth wall, transmutable, intercessory, mediary. Like, that's the most mediary thing that I can do to you. That's the most that I can relate myself to be relatable. It's to say that I have nothing to say. Like, I can just talk about cabinets if you were just listening to me talking, because you are apparently listening to me talking if you're listening to my podcast. As long as I'm just being real about it, like, you're just listening to me talk. Like, if you're just listening to my podcast, like, cabinets are great. Like, cabinets, stove. Do you know about kitchen make? Do you know, like, you might, I mean, why wouldn't I? But it doesn't make sense to people that you then decide to talk about just inanimate object. Like, you would go to, like, an inanimate object is just the same to you as like that would be what, like, differentiate me from somebody else. That an inanimate object is the same as like something I did. Something that I did, there's nothing I did, like my life, what I do. I can't discriminate. That's my problem. I can't discriminate between what I did and what is a table. So as long as you're listening to, like, I can't discriminate, whatever. So that's a limitation of my character. Don't remember me to be that, but that's just me trying to explain it in a limited fashion to you. And I just sound like an incomprehensible moron, like, throughout the entire thing, no matter what, like, because you're just a lunatic, even though I'm just trying to say that I'm a person. Like, whatever. I'm just like, yep, you win then. You win then. I don't know. I do know how to differentiate between a cabinet and when I drove to work. Sorry. Like, that's my problem. I can't differentiate. Like, that's not anything to be sad about. Ha ha ha. Do you know that that's a person? That's a reality. That's true. Do you know that's true? Ha. Oh, take it in. Take it in. I don't know how to differentiate between a fucking table and and that I, like, ran a mile. Like, I can't. They're the same thing. Is that a? But sorry that's not a very palatable person to you. If you understood this, you're like, ooh, you're not attractive. That's not attractive if you're, but as long as you're listening to me, I like it when you talk. As long as the reaction is I like it when you talk. Do you know that a cabinet is like a thing? Do you know that there's stove relate to cabinet? Like I'm retarded. Do you know that I'm retarded actually? Do you know that but like it really, I'm retarded is the fact of the matter. That's what's practical about me, is that I am only explainable to be retarded. Like, like, duh. Because that's just what it is. Whatever. Like, but being positive just means that you're not remembering what you did. Honestly, that's my best explanation for it. Being positive just means don't remember what you did. And you can't say to like live in the moment, because that just makes you sound like, I mean, I'm not saying to live in the moment. Whatever, like you live in the moment, like you make it a phrase if you're like, oh, live in the moment, and like that's part of that identity, like being a hippie. That's part of being a hippie. Like if you say live in the moment, like that is definable just being a hippie. Like live in the moment is not live in the moment, and it can't be, because we understand that it's stupid. Live in the moment is above, like actually living in the moment is above the definition, like the way that we try to understand living in the moment, because to live in the moment, because to live in the moment, because you have to stop you have to understand what live in the moment means. If you're stopping to think about live in the moment, or like argue it, like live in the moment, if you're, but I'm just saying that as somebody who's arguing it, like to myself, because I'm just a person. As long as you're around, like there's fucking cabinets, like there's tables, as long as you're here. Do you know that a wall is the same as a cockroach? And like a cockroach, like, do you know that? Like, as truth to me. And what's interesting about it is that it is true to me. So I get to say it with the authority of it being true, because it is true. Like, because it is true that a cockroach, because that's true to me, because that's my reality as long as you're listening to it. A cockroach is the same as a fucking wall. In my reality, oh, he's a lunatic. He doesn't know how to make sense of things. He doesn't pay attention. He's attention deficit. Yeah. Whatever. Like, there's nothing. It's just like, whatever. It just keeps going. Is that a problem? Is that a problem? Like, and here I am speaking to you as a result. Like, do you know that a cabinet is the same? Do you know that? Do you know that a cabinet, but this is me saying it to you. But like, accept it or don't. Accept it or don't. My reality is accept it or don't. Here it is. Here's what you have to try to live down or say is not true. You gotta try to say that this argument isn't true, or like you just gotta live with that. Because I am saying it truthfully, and that's all that matters. Like, it's like I'm saying it truthfully, that I have the authority to say a table is the same as a cockroach. I have the authority to say it, and that just sounds funny. Like, there's nothing interesting about saying that, or thinking that you have the authority. Like, I do have the authority to say that. There's nothing supernatural about it. I'm just a guy being a person saying that, and you're listening to me being recorded saying like duh, it is duh, why are you like duh, don't make it more. I'm just saying, here's my critique. It's a critique on culture. It's a critique like we got to explain what the artistic value of it. There's no artistic value. Fuck art. Don't do it. Fuck art. Anyway. Do you know? Here's the point that I was trying to make. Pilfering and stealing, pilfering. I have to say with some amount of passion, in order for me to not make fun of myself for it, you have to say with some amount of passion. You can't just be relay, do, because there is something passionate about it to me. You can't just relay it. That's the whole point. You don't need to understand yourself to be identifiable to other people in order to articulate your character, is what I'm saying. And so therefore, as a result of that, my explanation to you forward as this from culturally explanationally understandably acceptable culturally acceptable person, as deemed acceptable person, as long as you're listening. I mean, as long as you're listening, you're accepting it, right? What worry do I need to put on it? What worry do I need to put on like, why do I need to worry about somebody listening to me, or like how they accept it or digest it or whatever? But I'm just a person. I want to be accepted. I want to understand. I want to be accepted. I like to be around people. I want to understand, to be around other people. That's the whole point of being a person, or why you say you are a person, or explain yourself to be a person, for Christ's sake. Do you know that? Do you know that you're just a person? Do you know that I'm just a guy in an apartment? Do you know that? I'm just do you know what the harsh reality of everybody's life is behind their Facebook? Is just that, like, you know, they're just like a guy, they're just like a family, or just like a family. But like, obviously, like, there's a harsh reality. I'm just saying, like, if you do build up Facebook to be a thing, if you do, which apparently I do, which apparently is what I'm saying, apparently. Like, oh, Facebook's like, your Facebook thing is your thing. I understand that to have some value. Like, that's why I have to explain it to myself at all, is because I understand that it has value to call yourself as communicatable and translatable through the medium Facebook. I understand that. So I understand that. That's fine. Like, I get it. And I'm losing attention. Here's what I'm saying about Pilfer. Like, do you see the limitations of this guy? Like, I own a dog. Like, how am I supposed to study myself enough to, like, take it outside? I feel the worry. I feel other people's worry about me owning a dog. Like, people, like, I'm like, I own a dog. People just laugh at me. Like, like, they laugh at me because it's hard for me to study myself. Like, I am a person, am I not? I'm a person. Like, I do have limitations. Like, I do have that problem, right? As long as you understand yourself to have the limitation, then you get to understand yourself to be a person. But you have to understand that you fucking are a shit nothing. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're nothing. But that's the negative side of it. That's just negative. Like, that's just you being negative. That's just positive. Be positive. Do you want to be positive? Is there positivity to be had at all? Do you know that the Rolling Stones are like, America? Do you know pilfering? As long as I say what pilfering, like, the Rolling Stones are America. Now it's just incoherent. I don't know. He just started talking about the Rolling Stones or something. Like, no, you can follow it doesn't have to be that I relate it all to you in some coherent way. There isn't anything coherent. Like, just by being a person, I am coherent. Aren't I? Like, why do I have to relay it to you through words? Like, why do I have to connect that I am like why do I have to relay a point? Like, why do I have to explain a point? Why do I have to explain a point at all? You know? Duh. God, like, do you understand? So you don't, like, helplessly, like, I have these limitations that I can't, like, so it's funny that I have a dog. That's what's funny about life. Oh, he got a dog? Because he tries to take himself serious, like, oh, that guy can't take himself seriously. That's funny. And that's humor. There you go. Like, don't you understand? Don't overcomplicate it. But just saying it's overcomplicating something, like, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know what you're doing and trying to understand that something is overcomplicated. Like, oh, it's complex. There's nothing definable about anything that anybody does. Do you know that? It's just that everybody is a person. Do you know that everybody is just actually just... Do you know that this is me just recording that, and my reality just happens to be that a table is the same as a chair? Is the same as a person? It's the same as a woman? Is the same as a... Like, I have this problem. I was like, because I'm a person, because I'm a weirdo with this like limitation. I have this defect. I have a defect because I'm retarded, man. I have this defect that it allows me to just understand it as a defect. Allow yourself to understand it to be something negative and understand me to be a person. Like, allow that rather than saying that that's something to be hidden away or something that we're afraid of. You know what I'm talking about? Anyway, like, does that make sense to you? Does that make sense to you? Just that I am just a person. I just recorded it because only a table is just like, a table is the same as a fucking wall. Like, as long as I'm recording anything at all, as long as I'm saying something, it's just me. See, the entire reason that you put forward yourself as a performer, your identity in front of other people, is to say that you are an identity for Christ's sake. Like, to say that you are a person. Everybody just, can't we just accept that like people are people, but like in a not definable way, like in a definable way, because the 60s is like remembered for people accepting each other or whatever, but then it becomes definable, like saying live in the moment, it becomes definable and it just becomes shitty. But like living in the moment, you can't define it. That's the whole fucking point. You can't define living in the fucking moment. Don't try to tell anybody to live in the moment. Fuck trying to tell somebody to live in the moment, or fuck telling somebody to accept it. Just live. There's nothing you can say about living except being it, except accepting. Like, there's nothing you can do except be it. There's no formula for good. There's no formula. You can't derive your way. You can't write your way to being good. It just happens. You have to be. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is my platform. This is what I'm dictating to you. This is my condescension to you. This is what my dick is saying. Like, honestly, this is what my dick is saying. This is my reality. Do you want to be it? Do you want to understand it, or do you want to not? Like, just leave. Don't listen to me if you don't want to. It doesn't matter, because I'm just a person, obviously. You can't try to make yourself a thing. Like, when you ramble or try to make it a diatribe, like, you can't make yourself a thing. But I only make it so that I understand that I'm becoming a thing as I'm doing it, because I don't have time, because I'm retarded, honestly. So if you're not accepting that I'm retarded, then do it. Like, like, move. Stop listening to me. But that's the whole point, is that as long as I'm saying, like, as long as you, like, the only thing I would know about my audience, ultimately, the base level, is that they're still listening. If you listen to this for an hour or 40 minutes, like, that's the only thing I know. But I have a problem on not discriminating. I'm not discriminate, man. Like, I don't, in a not like, oh, that's really nice, that's really cool. No, don't. I am nothing. I am identity. Like, identity, whatever, you have by being that, you have the properties of being any sort of identity. Like, whatever, it doesn't matter what words exactly or what articulation you use to say yourself that you are a person, or just the mediums. It's like, the words are mediums, the same way that you use Facebook as a medium, like the way that you communicate your identity, the way that your identity is relatable to other people or understandable at all, is that you communicate yourself through mediums to say that you're a person, or only to identify yourself, is what I'm saying. It's the only identity. You just have to identify yourself to be a person. It's just being a person. There's no formula for good. Sorry. There's no try to arrive at, is there a reason why you're not happy? No, there isn't. Like, there's no reason for you sad because you can't become, because you can't be it. Fucking, is what's said? Is that what was said about it? There's nothing more. Don't attribute it to anything or see it in relationship to anything besides that. Like, is what I'm saying to you. Just, ooh, fuck it. If you listen to this whole thing, that's what I know about you. That's what I know about you. That's what I know about my audience. That's what I know about the relatable portion of myself, is that I have an audience, that there's somebody listened, Of course, that comes across as narcissistic or condescending. Fuck it being a message, though. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to be anything. That's why I'm able to articulate it so well, because it doesn't matter. Don't you understand that nothing fucking matters to be, if you understand yourself to be a person, or allow yourself to have limitations, for Christ's sake? Like, allow yourself to, don't be perfect. Don't understand yourself to only be seen as understood through filters and shit. Don't make yourself understood by other people identifiably, is the whole thing I'm saying. Don't make that. There's nothing identifiable. Fuck the medium. Identifying is the medium. Fuck the medium in which you communicate yourself. Yeah, because a medium is like an identifier. Don't fuck the medium. There's no middleman. There's no middleman. Cryptocurrency. There's no middleman. You are the bank. Cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, you are the bank. There's no intercessory, there's no intermediary, there's no for the means of transaction just happens. You are the bank. You are the bank. If like with is the whole idea with cryptocurrency, and it is an idea, and it is something that you invest in. It's like an idea that you invest in. Oh, it's a new technology or something on the horizon. It's a new thing. Cryptocurrency, oh, it's a new thing on the horizon. Okay, you can invest in it or not. It's like you don't have to embroil, you don't have to enshroud it in all this mysticism, like, oh, Bitcoin do what's it mean? Well, it's just like this new thing it's just like something you can invest in or not. It doesn't matter. Like, it's an idea. Like, it doesn't make it, but only at the point that you say that you're trying to get other people to do it. Like, if you're trying to get other people to do it, then it is like then it's more like religious, whatever. I don't need to, it doesn't matter. I don't care about the argument. Like, I wouldn't want to care about how that I sounded terrible to. That's the whole point. I don't want to sound bad, like, to other people. I don't have anything negative to say about, like, if somebody but even though it just sounds like negative, if it's the things I say sound negative if they are counterintuitive to somebody's identity. Like, if somebody hears this, it is repulsive to them if it is repulsive to them and their status and the way that they understand themselves to be an identity. Obviously, like, if they hear this and this message, my message, I do have a message, do I not? It is a message. You have to, like, I am just thinking about how I, like, whatever. And because I said that, and did you know that a table is the same as a fucking chair? Like, oh, Christ, thank you. This is just like a breath of fresh air to say, I'm just this guy, but it don't make it a thing. Don't remember me ever. I'm not a thing. Don't high five me, or high-fiving, the tradition of high-fiving. I don't want to be high-fived, but like, there's a good thing about traditions like rock and roll, like the Rolling Stones are America. Is there a greater story than that? The Rolling Stones are America. Like, that's America. Do you see it? Is there respect to be paid? Look at the Rolling Stones. Look at, like, I don't even listen, but like, I love the Rolling Stones. I do. I love the idea, like, Rolling Stones. I love it. I love the story. Thank you for sharing that with the world, the Rolling Stones. Of course, respect is to be paid. Respect the Rolling Stones, obviously. They carried on 40 years. They carried on 40 years just pumping out, like, the same kind of thing. Well, yeah, we're just the Rolling Stones, Obviously, of course, that's what they are. Of course, they are Gather No Moss. Of course, they are Rolling Stones. Like, of course, they keep going. The Rolling Stones, they do continue. Time is on my side. Like, time is on. Like, of course, time is on your side. Exactly right. Great. America, like, that's America. Thank you. Respect is to be paid. Of course, traditions are great. Is the moral of that. Of course, morals are great. Of course, morals are to be engaged in. Morals, like, story. Yes, the tradition of the Rolling Stones. I'm sorry that I call it a tradition. Like, it's not my fault that don't make it that I'm mean because I, like, that I revere it that way. Don't make it that I'm mean because don't make it that I'm mean because I revere it a particular way particular to me. I'm calling it a tradition because that's the way I'm understanding it. Like, oh, he's mean, he's not respecting it. No, I am actually respecting it entirely. I'm just saying it in a way that is not digestible to you if you think it's unattractive, but it's okay to be unattractive. Duh. It's okay to be unattractive. Like, unattractive isn't absolute. I mean, it is absolute evil. Like, as long as you understand it to be an absolute, it's just things aren't to be understood as absolutes. As long as they're to be understood, as long as things are to be related, as long as things are to be conveyed, they're not to be conveyed in absolutes, because everything I say is a compromise on my character. Like, exactly the idea. Can I say exactly the ideas, the essence of myself? No, I have to say it through words because I'm limited by words, because I'm retarded, man. This doesn't end. I keep going. As long as I just record it, I'm just recording myself, like, endlessly. Do you know that? and I gotta save it this time. And I did this the other day because like sometimes because I just get on a train of thought, and like you can access the train of thought where you feel positive about it. Otherwise I'm just kind of like below it is kind of the way that I operate. And so that's just a way that people operate. Sorry, that's just a way that people operate. You can define it to be whatever. Like, I do have to be digestible, though. I do. Like, people have to be like, oh, he's bipolar or whatever. Like somebody would have to call me that in order to understand me. Like, I have to understand that it's okay to be accepted, too. I have to stop and be accepted. Christ, like, as long as I'm allowing myself to be a person, I have to understand that that's what other people understand me to be. Like, as long as relation exists, but it's nothing like I have to relay myself as this. So, is that what, like any tradition that you hold about yourself, or like I'm saying like you, even just to yourself, you remember yourself to be something, just to yourself for the sake of remembering. Because we're so confused. Like we have this immature self-concept about ourselves. As long as you're listening, as long as we're an hour 50, as long as I understand that all that you're doing is listening to me and I have something to say, like immature, we have an immature concept of ourselves as a country, to say that like a self-concept, it is an immature thing, or it's just as like it's just within just within like the stages of our development as a species, as humanity, because that's a more interesting story. It's a more interesting story to me. It's a better narration of events to me to say evolution is true than creation is true, if that's where if you're held up. But if you're listening to me at all, no, like evolution is true. Like that is the narration we adopted over creation as a world. So we're carrying on as long as reality is to be engaged in. Like that is what reality is now, unfortunately. Like, unfortunately, that's reality now. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, reality practices evolution. So are you going to engage in reality or whatever? But like, that's just like, there's things I work up out of my character to say about like to be mean, but like you don't want to sound negative, or you don't want to sound like an ass. Like you don't need to sound like an ass. Like I don't need to single out anybody, because people know when you're singling somebody out. People know that. People understand that intuitively. Like people know when you single somebody out. People know that. Like, why am I this though? Can we just talk about me? But just like, can we talk about me for a second? Stuff about me. But it's like, what's with you? Like you. Like if I just said me objectively, I can't understand myself objectively, obviously. Why would I ever try to do that? I can't define myself. That is limitation itself. That's limitation itself. Is you trying to define yourself is limitation. You know what I'm talking about? But there's nothing transcendent about, there's no like behind the curtain about anybody's character. It's just like you build up, you get intimidated. People get intimidated about other people's characters and their personas, you know, obviously that's just naturally what happens. Like you saying that, like Joe Rogan, or you just being afraid of putting it definable to yourself in order to put it behind yourself, in order to not face that this is an argument, that this is an argument of a reality. Like me, myself speaking, this is an argument of a reality. As long as you have listened to this point to understand that this is a reality that I'm conveying, even though I'm limited by words to say it, whatever. Like, fuck it, dude. Fuck it is what fuck it is. Fuck it. Like, honestly, fuck it. Always just keep going. Fuck it. That's the idea is so much greater than the words. The idea of fuck it is like saying fuck it, or understanding the tradition fuck it, of like us liking fuck it, like to say to each other, oh yeah, that's funny. Fuck that tradition. Move on. Like there's nothing, you know. but you have to have traditions. Like, you have to be understood. You have to be accepted. Like, you can't just be unrelatable nonsense, man. Like, as long as I'm just explaining to myself what my relationship to other people is, that's just me. I'm just explaining to you my relationship to other people. Like, or like part of it. These are just the inner workings of a psycho, like whatever you want to call it. Like whatever intermediary thing that you need to digest me through. Like, you know what I'm talking about? And fuck me explaining why it is that. Because a mediary is like because fuck explaining that I am that. Because there's better things than me being the guy explaining it. Because there's better things. There's move on. Did you know? Than me being the guy to explain it. I hate explaining. Fuck that. And me explaining being a tradition like I can't be remembered. Don't remember me. It doesn't matter. Don't remember. I have to be Christ, you know. There's no formula for good. I have to stop. Like, I have to do something else. Like, I have to end though, because like now because that is the point that it ends, right? Practically in reality is the point that I just understand that there's other things that I want to do, like just physically, whatever, like my dumb body carries me to somewhere else. to make podcasts, record, like if you just like look at it from an outside perspective, and then boom, like, and then I'm just doing this, like I'm just a guy going through it. Awful. But you can't look at it that way, because that is the pessimistic viewpoint, you know. That is like pessimism incarnate, is to say that. But it's like, it's optimism incarnate to say otherwise. To say, no, there's more, like I am doing a person, I am being like, there's nothing, it's not just a pattern that I am like, there's a reason for saying it. It's just, you can be optimistic or pessimistic. To say that there's a reason for things is, you are an optimistic person as long as you're listening to me. You believe in God, you're optimistic, you believe in God. Pessimistic is there's no reason for the. Pessimistic is to say that you aren't a person, or it's just the entirely outside viewpoint, and saying that you're just a pattern, which is a possible viewpoint, but that viewpoint is inherently pessimistic. That is what is pessimism, as long as we're able to convey the infiniteness of the idea, you know. Is pessimism is the viewpoint, is the extended outward viewpoint, the overarching, like entirely authoritative viewpoint of it. Is pessimism, I guess, apparently, as long as I'm explaining it now, articulating, because articulating is the medium that we've chosen for this time period, because that's one of our favorite things, one of our fads. Words are fads, you know. That's one of our fads for this time period. Oh, in that time period they use these words, you know. Time period, these mediums fall in and out of fashion because they're mediums. But I have to say, whatever. I have to move on, you know. I have to stop recording this. Like, there's nothing hypocritical about me walking away. That's what I argue to myself. God, it's just always this argument, you know. I'll just rack it inside my brain, like, whatever. But it's just, you can accept that to be like, you can accept me to be this limited fuck up of a person, like, but don't call yourself that. No, call me that. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Fuck up of a person, just fuck words. Like, fuck words. I'm telling you, I can't discriminate. Like, words doesn't matter. As long as you listen for 2 hours the most I did, so I got to aim for do this for 3 hours. That's what I got to aim for. There's a goal. You got to have progression. You got to have goals for yourself. You got to move towards things, so that, whatever it is, so that you can be like, oh, I am a person progressing in a positive fashion, so that I can document my positive trajectory, because trajectory is to be documented, isn't it? Because progression is important, right? Isn't there a progression to be documented about you being a person? Isn't there? Obviously. So So as long as I'm saying the trajectory is upward, like as long as I want to document myself to be acceptable, because it is documentation that makes you, that is digestible, is digestion of something is your documentation or your recognition of it as an authority. Like, you know, it's like, as you document it, it's like you understanding is digesting it, but like just you, either you as a person or just the society at large, like the humanity, like the American culture digests all these words, these concepts as they come around, because that's what digestion is, because digestion is just a word. Digesting the concept, digestion, as long as you've listened to me for 2 hours, of course I can do more. Like there's nothing limited about what the fuck you are. Of course I can say more. Yeah. Because I can keep going, because I can, because I was about to end it, because it was about to be sad, because I was about to be sad sack apology man and end it, because I was about to be sad sack man, and now boom, now culture is culture. I'm alive again. I want to share my culture about who I am again. Finally energy out of this callous ass bitch motherfucker of a person. Like finally some energy, some passion. What's he saying? Like, oh yeah, because I do. And he's like, because like finally I'm saying myself in relation. Here's my argument, here's my explanation of it. My relation of my character is that me in relation to what I was in the podcast before. Like, oh, if you saw me as somebody who didn't have that much energy, because you know what, when Donald Trump calls Jeb Bush, like when he calls my voice carries, my parents can probably hear me. I'm a fuck up, you know, I'm just like this fuck up, but like I do infringe on boundaries, do I not? Like I, like by essence, I can't stop if I am saying anything at all, because I have to be kind of like, you know what I'm talking about? But as long as we're on the same side, you're listening to me, because as long as we're on the same side, because I do have to be condescending, you have to understand, because I do have to be condescending, you have to listen to me, because honestly, because I am like, because the thing is, like, you know, the argument is, but I do have to be condescending. It's like, I have to be, it's not my fault, because like, I have to be condescending. It's not my fault. And this guy's just a lunatic. He's just a nut. He's just a lunatic. Yes, because everything has to be digestible, whatever, you know. He's talking about digestion and like, whatever, just make me palatable to you, whatever way you have to, even if it's abrasive to you, if it's like, it's nasty, like, nasty. How great is the word nasty? How great is the properties of that word that we're like, oh, nasty is like the best, actually. Do you hear that burp? Like, I'm just a person. Do you know that nasty is the best? Because I'm just this guy. Like, I'm just this disgusting being. Like, I'm a disgusting state of being, like primitive you. Do you know? Like, don't make me to be an appearance polished thing because I'm gross. Like, you. Do you know that there's more to say? Like, there's more to say, because I can't be a hypocrite and then end it. Like, ending is there is finite. But people understand that you're a person. Like, you have to end. People understand that you're a person. You have to end things the same way other people end things. People understand that decorum. People understand tradition to be understood. That understanding that there is something to be understood. That understanding is understanding. People understand understanding about you being a person understanding. So as long as you've listened for 2 hours, I am just this disgusting like thing. You know, I'm just like saying to you, of course it's disgusting. Of course it's abhorrent to you. Of course it's abhorrent to you. Of course it's like repulsive, or like not, like it has you have a problem trying to digest it to you, because you're you and I'm me, like obviously, because that's why, as long as you've listened for 2 hours, like this is me, this is my dick speaking, your dick isn't my dick. Like we're, you know, like if a person, like human, like women, of course, like women don't like, I don't know why, but like women don't like, they're like, oh, condescending. But like if you're like condescending, but here's my explanation of it, and me trying to understand as a retarded person, but like me understanding as a retarded person that like, oh, this is what a woman is. No, you don't, there's nothing, there's not, you don't, there isn't, you can't. So it's just like, there's not, don't try, it's limited. You're not, see, that's you understanding that there is reality, is that you are not a woman, you know, if you're a man, like that is reality. Like, so is that an explanation? I keep saying I do things, say I do, I does, like always. This is part of it. Don't make me a thing like, oh, as long as you've listened for 2 hours. But I like the thought of, oh, I was about to end it. I like that, because ooh, surprise, fun. Ooh, surprise, yeah. Ooh, surprise, yeah, fun. Because more surprise. Because here's the thing, guys. It's like The thing, if you just listen to me, because gather into my circle, because this is like all part of it, just you just like listen to me, because like I have to be like, the thing is, like, the world is going to tell you, like, don't be like that guy's condescending or whatever. Like, the world's going to tell you, like, that guy's condescending, or like, don't listen to him. But like, the thing is, guys, like, here's the truth of the matter is that just like I am condescending. I have to be condescending. I do condescend. Like, there's no limit to my condescension. I imagine myself to be condescending more. I imagine myself to be condescending more than you do. I condescend higher levels of condescension, obviously. Duh. Why would you limit to yourself and your ability to condescend? I condescend higher than you, motherfuckers. Yeah, I condescend, bitch. Yeah. I condescend at a higher level. Duh. Obviously, there's nothing to be not condescended about. I don't not condescend, obviously. So like, so nothing. So there's nothing you say. I'm just like, as long as you listen for 2 hours and 3 minutes, it says like, as long as because I just recorded myself. I do have to walk away though, because I'm just this guy in an apartment. Just like, those are the thoughts. As long as you're listening to me, as long as you're listening to me. Also, this, like, whatever, rifling off of words, like, communicate. It's not my fault. Like, it's just, you're all limited by words. Duh. I can't discriminate. I'm being serious. Like, I don't discriminate. You think that that's reality. Try to digest this reality. If you listen for 2 hours and 4 minutes, you're like, ooh. If you're like somebody who's like, ew. I'm just like, I'm taking the perspective that I'm received poorly only. That's the only perspective I'm able to see. Like, oh, it's going to be received poorly, but like, why? It can be received well. You dumb ass, you retarded man. Limitation, that's your limitation. You know you can be received well. Do you know that being received well is a possible thing? That thinking positively is an acceptable fashion of communicating yourself? Do you know that, retarded man? Me, retarded man, only communicate negative. Retarded man doesn't communicate. Retarded only communicate. It doesn't matter, because as long as you listen for 2, because that's why I keep recording, is because there is no end. There's no end. Don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep ever. There's no go to sleep. There's no end to the day. The day continues. Like, don't go to sleep. Don't make it so that the fun that we're having is gone. That's the whole idea behind not going to sleep. If certain people posit through their characters, certain people posit through their characters, the more the idea or the embodiment of not going to sleep, like the argument for not going to sleep, don't go to sleep. Like, don't go to sleep. Obviously, don't go to sleep. Like, because the things continue, because don't end it, because the day isn't ending, because there isn't like a formatable, presentable way for you to communicate yourself. Duh, fucking obviously, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Like, let me take a break though to like get a water or some, like, because like I'm retarded, man. Because quite like directly, I'm retarded, man. No, like literally, let me stop for a minute to like understand the way that would sound to other people. Like, you really, like, if I stop to allow myself to be understood, like, even though I can't discriminate, because that's my defect or my problem, I can't discriminate. So then I understand myself to not be, because I don't understand that people like sound different than other people or whatever, but it's just a thing. It's just an identity to say that you have a problem saying, like, it doesn't matter. Like, there's nothing identifiable about me. Like, don't be. Now I'm sad again. Like, now I'm sad. It's like, I'm sad because I stopped to communicate, because I was in sad time stopping. I was apology man to stop. I had to compromise on my diatribe of what I was saying, because I'm sad apology man. Because I'm sad apology man, I had to compromise. I feel sad because I didn't get to say it. I'm a sad apology man. Because I didn't get to say it, because I stopped saying, like, that's because I'm retarded. Like, because I stopped saying what it was, and then I went away, and then stopped, and then I can't start it again, because you don't understand, because it don't, like, that's like, that's what's going on in my brain and in my heart as I speak to you, is like, I went away, and then the sad, like, what's happy about life is saying what is happening to you. That's all that I'm saying, is what's happening is that I'm saying what's happening to you, because I am this and I can't relay it any other way. And the reason that I understand that to be a point of emphasis or a point of something that I drive home at all is because I understand that because I just know that that's what people would, I just know. that's what people would be interested in hearing, is the idea that there's more to you than just your definable person. But like, as long as I really say it is only at the point at which somebody would really actually understand it to be something other than just the nameless garble of whatever other information they're hearing every single day. It's only if I said it all the time, and it's only that I would be passionate about it, that I could say it all the time, that I could say it truthfully. You really can only have the authority to say it. Like, it has to really be true in order for it to stand out in any way. But like, in order for you to keep repeating the truth of it, because you have to understand the truth of something in order to say that it's true, and that's what's true. Like, we know what truth is, but not being able to recognize false from true is saying that is like doubting yourself and saying that you're false, whatever. See, it doesn't end. It doesn't end like if you listen for 2 hours, but there's just documenting. There's documenting you. This is the time period in which that's the amount of time in which he spoke it. It doesn't matter the amount of time. Like, in reality, if you think about that, how arbitrary it is, that we're like really, really stop to think about how arbitrary it is that you're like, that's what I'm saying. That's what's true to me. That's my reality that I'm arguing to you. Is like, do you look at that? There's like a 2 hour, 8 minute. There's 2 hours, 8 minutes. There's no name for the time. Like, but that's just understanding time as a construct that's just us trying to digest that time as a thing. But time is undigestibility. Like, time is undigestibility. Have you ever heard of the zip mystery? I think that's what it's called. The zip mystery or whatever. It's the idea that everything that you're ordered, like if somebody took this podcast episode that I did, and then they ordered the words that I said by frequency. They're like, he said digest this many times, and he said communicate this many times, or whatever, like, or at least the ideas related to it, like that. If you said them, like, they always follow the same. They always follow the same. It's like, it's the most truthful, like, possible thing that you could even. It's so like, oh, that's what frequency is. This idea. It's called like the zip mystery, because frequency is like Tesla is like, oh, if you want to understand the universe, just it's frequency, because frequency is the connecting force, like energy that exists between finite things and infinite things. Frequency is what exists between, as long as you're listening 2 hours, 10 minutes. Frequency is what connects a noun and a verb. Like, if you were to say that a noun is to be related to a verb at all, they're connected in that they are both frequent. They're both frequent. Frequency is the common ancestor to both of them. Frequency, like, the things are frequent. The things are frequency, and it is this zip mystery is just you. It's just communicating a lot of truth about frequency. This idea, this frequency, which is that you, like, it always it's like that 50% of the word, like, people always. Here's the thing. Here's what it is. Here's what's particular about it. Like, this is why I can't explain. Isn't that funny? Like, but I am a person, like, I don't need to make it a theatrical production. Christ. But like, I don't explain. Like, I can't pay attention, What am I? Like, helpless retard. Like, I lose focus on honest to God. Oh, fuck it. Was I saying, like, you have to get back into it. Like, I have to get myself back into it. What was I saying? It was like whatever. Like, you have to I have to be patient with myself in order to have myself understand it again. In order for it to revolve back around. Like, I have to understand that things revolve back around. You will remember it. You have to be patient. You will remember it. Rather than, oh, I don't know what it was. Like, it's just, it probably wasn't important. Whatever. Like, it's just like, Oh, it wasn't? Like whatever you're starting. Like I start that whole story and then nothing. And then I don't say what's particular about it. I love that idea. I love that. I love that because you can't do that. You can't start a story and then not say what's particular about it. You can't start a story and then not have the reason that you said the story, and people are waiting for the reason you said it. And I love that you just don't have to say it. Like as long as you've built up a story, it's so funny. It's so funny. It's hilarious. But what's funny, character. I don't want to be a character. Christ, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be a character. I don't want to remember myself to be whatever. I have to communicate. I have to respect myself enough to be a relatable person to say the point. Here it comes. Do. Sorry that I have attention deficit disorder. I can't focus. I mean, that's the entire reason why I've continued for 2 hours and 13 minutes is I can't stop. I'm worried about the stopping, or at least the stopping is like not. But that's the whole point. Like that is the energy that I'm just this direction of wanting. Sorry. I just want rather than stop, rather than wanting is not stopping, As long as you've listened for 2 hours and 13 minutes, wanting is not stopping. Is there anything incoherent? He sounded incoherent. Well, like there's not, you just kind of, what's coherent to you is what's coherent to you. It's just like patience of you understanding a person. If I really understand to you is incomprehensible. Do you know? Wow, he has a real bone to pick. He really has something to. If he might as well just say it, because I don't know what his problem is. He has something that he's got built up. Well, here it is. Here's what I've built up, and that is nothing. Here's what I've built up. Nothing, actually. Nothing is built up. 2 hours 14 minutes, but this is just something you listen to. 2 hours 14 minutes. I'll tell you about palatable. I'll tell you motherfuckers about what's palatable and what's not. Obviously, I'm the authority. I'm the dictatorianism of what it is to mean to be this. I'm the dictator. I'm dictatorial. I'm dictatorial I'm dictatorial right now. As long as you're listening, I am the authority. Listen, by the way, and I am condescending. By the way, actually, I am the authority on what's digestible and what isn't. Actually, as long as you're understanding that, I do have. Actually, I am the authority on it. Because, by the way, come over to and listen to me. Here it is. Let me tell you. Let me come over and gather into my circle so I can tell you face to face. The secret is, other people might say that I'm not supposed to be condescending, or that I'm not condescending, but I am condescending. And so like you have to understand that we have to play along. He is the authority on, he is the authority. Oh, okay. He's the authority on digestion. He knows what digestion is. He's the authority. Oh, okay. Play along. Yeah. Oh, good. Oh, is that what you? So do it. So do it. So do it, because I am the authority on digestion. I'm the authority on digestion. What's up? What's good? I only had digestion to talk about, motherfuckers. I only had it. That's my medium of communicating, is through digestion. As long as that's just digestion is just what I do. Digestion is just what that's had. And I speak through digestion, and I digest myself to explain it. I digest myself to be whatever identity. I just digest myself. I can't be a formulation. I only am be, only continue, always be, always continue on. That's what I be. Digestion, that's the medium. As long as that's the medium in which I'm speaking, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about that's the medium. Well, why don't you make digestion the medium? Like, as long as I don't know how to discriminate, just say that digestion is what it means to communicate through something, because I'm retarded, man. Because I'm retarded. Do you accept my limitations? Because I'm retarded, man. Digestion, to me, digestion. Do you really want to hear what I have to say? Do you have any patience to understand that this is a reality also? Do you? Because this is reality. Because reality is that, let's make digestion Let's make digestion what you call the medium of communication, and that's what you understand your identity of, because I'm retarded. Because it's just me because shut the fuck up, like what's the reaction? Just an impulse of like hearing me talk, like babble on about nothing. It's just like I'm this like babbling idiot or whatever. If you're not on board with it at all, I am just a babbling idiot. Oh my God, I'm just noise. Like, obviously, I am just a babbling idiot if I'm just noise. If I'm not, you know what I mean? You know, I'm just like, exactly. Of course your reaction is shut the fuck up. Of course your reaction is shut the fuck up. Like, if you're somebody outside of it, if you're somebody who listened to this entire thing, like, shut the fuck up. But accept that this is the medium. That's what podcasting is for, by definition of that. A podcast is this medium of entertainment medium. But anyway, so a zip mystery. And did I ever understand? Did I ever explain? Because I have a problem explaining pilfering versus stealing, zip mystery, zip mystery. Those are the two things I need to explain, and I'll get back to it. But I have this other train of thought because there's new things to be said, and those are the two things that I need to get back to in order for me to explain myself to be a respectable person and relatable in any sort of certain fucking fashion for your understandable, incomprehensible, otherwise incomprehensible understanding of myself, and in order for me to be a relatable, understandable, communicatable, definable entity within the medium of, you know. Is that acceptable? Is that a person or no? Just don't accept it as long as you listen for 2 hours and 18 minutes. Just continue. Continue. There's nothing more. There's nothing to be said about it. There's nothing to be said about what I did remember how great it was, the thing that you did. Nothing is do that I did a great. Remember as forever, anywhere, you know? For anything, do as, there's nothing great as for as long as words, as long as we're using words. Like, there's nothing. That's what I'm saying to you, and that's my reality. There's nothing transcendent about it. There's nothing transcendent about my ability to say that digestion is now the medium that we call communicating. So there's nothing transcendent about, there's nothing, that's just a reality as posed by me, as posited by me, and you can, through your reception, understand or take it in, whatever the fuck, because I am... Because as long as you're here, because the table is a fucking digestion, because the digestion process. So because I'm retarded, man, because if I understand digestion to be the way in which I communicate myself, it's actually digestion. Like I can focus on the word and the concept digestion and understand that any identity that I can communicate myself, because an identity is definable the same way that a word is definable. Because I'm just a lunatic at this point, because you can't explain, because don't over-explain it. Do you understand that you sound like a lunatic as long as you over-explain it? That's what lunacy is. Lunacy is not relating yourself, like understanding that you would continue on and on and on and on but like not, it would be not understanding it. You're not a lunatic. Come on, stop calling yourself a lunatic. You don't have to be that. Just be nicer to yourself. Like, don't be hard on yourself. You're an asshole. But I'm just a person. But it's just like, continue with it. But I am the argument. But obviously I'm the argument. And of course, come over to my circle, because I do have to be condescending to myself and to other people, because I'm condescending, obviously, because I am condescending, because the frequency of the action, because I'm just a pattern, obviously. But this is always continuing anyway. These are just the patterns in which I understand my thoughts to be, because the motion in which I continue myself is obviously infinite. Otherwise, of course, it's infinite. And like it's infinite, but we have to communicate it through these practical words. And as long as you understand a word to just be a medium, like everything is just a medium, like digestion, you might as well just call digestion what it means to communicate your identity. So, like, is that explainable? Am I an explainable, relatable person to you? Is that an acceptable person? Don't accept it or don't, or you just call me a lunatic or whatever the fuck. It's just a person, but I build it up to myself, because I sensationalize myself, because I particularly am narcissistic enough, because I am a narcissistic kind of personality, because I build it up as if people are listening or something. Like, I build it up as if people are listening to and formulating their opinion. Like obviously, if you're on the side of things that you're narcissistic, we all want the same thing. We all want to figure out what the truth is. Like narcissism. Like, I want to figure out. I would identify as a narcissist. Like, my friends are narcissists. People I surround myself with are narcissists, because you have to be a special. You have to understand that you're special in order to understand yourself to be narcissistic. But I surround surround myself with narcissistic people, or I want to be narcissistic. Is like what I come from. I am narcissism, you know, this is what I come from. Like, as my relatives are probably people related to me. I mean, if you're one of my relatives, you don't want to understand yourself to be narcissistic, that's fine. You're not narcissistic. I'm just saying, like, if I'm trying to understand, I'm just comprehending it as I speak from myself, you know, as long as I have words to speak it in. But it would be this infinite otherwise, so there's no point in it. Would be this fast otherwise, is what I'm saying. That's why I'm able to communicate it fastly, is like rapidly. Oh, he has a great grasp on the English language. Like, ooh, great, fantastic that you have a good grasp. You can rapidly explain your words. Oh, yay. But that's not just be that. Okay, fine, I am that identity, whatever. Then I become a meme, because I become a remembered pattern to some other people, or whatever the fuck. And so am I a relatable person? What I'm saying is that I just want to relate. I continue trying to relate it, but having to relate it is you understanding yourself to be a person to other people. Duh. You have to be understanding, but like that, but it's kind of a weird format, you know, fucking honestly, to be like, oh, people are listening to me as a podcast when it's not something I'm used to ever. That's my entire life. I don't talk to people and then they just hear it. Like, I'm not just on standby for them to pick up later if I'm in regular life. So I'm not used to this format of communicating. You know, if you give yourself a break, you understand yourself to be patient enough to understand yourself to be a person, you know? Like, just understand that you don't necessarily sound like a lunatic, but it is like you are a narcissist. But obviously that's obvious because you are obviously narcissistic. Like, because I am obviously narcissistic, and don't tell me that I'm not because I'm condescending to you. Don't tell me that you're condescending to me. I'm condescending to you because it is my reality. It's not your reality telling to me. Fucking obviously, because this is my fucking reality, dog. Because I'm condescending. Holy shit, fuck. Like, it's like, and I'm retarded, man, because I probably speak too loud. Like, I probably spoke too loud. I hope, because I need somebody to tell me to stop speaking loud, because I don't not understand practical things, because that's just an identity that I am. Ooh, I don't know common sense, because that's a thing to call yourself, because to be a relatable person, because anything that you call yourself is just for you to be a person. And as long as I'm just continuing on the train of thought, then it doesn't matter what the fuck I call myself to be a person. Like, it doesn't matter, because as long as there's new things, because it's gone, because I don't have any attention to be paid to anybody besides myself, because it continues, you know, as long as I'm continuing. Oh, he's manic depressive. Like, he just, like, train of thought, he's really happy. Yeah, whatever. Call it that. Like, whatever. It's fine. But I'm not going to, like, call myself that and have that be entirely my identity. Like, whatever. If that's what it is, if I'm schizophrenic to you, or, like, narcissistic, or... And I know that I'm insensitive to just throw them all into one blanket, but you know what? I'm telling you that this reality, as purveyed to by me, as long as you're listening to it 2 hours and 24 minutes in, doesn't know how to discriminate. So, like, I can't, it's a defect of my character, or whatever the fuck. There's more to be said. There's always more to be said. There's more to continue to be said. But, like, I'm always, like, because I don't know how to pay attention to things, I'm always looking at, like, what my dog is doing. I'm like, oh, what's he doing? Like, because I don't know. I can't measure what he's doing, like, probably just because of who I am. So I'm always watching him, or, like, just because of who I am, I need to just allow it to be that I kind of always am paying attention to my dog, because I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know, like, my dog doesn't know anything. He's just, like, walking around. And how much of a mirror, like, is that for me to have a dog? That's probably why it's funny to people. It's just like, oh, because that guy's just kind of like a dog walking around like a moron. But, like, does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? So I will end it now. Bye. Like, I have other things to do. My advice is to you to not be, you know. All right, because you can't end it, because I suck at ending, like... Bye, I have to end. Bye. Why does it have to end? Why does that have to end? Why is there ever ending? Don't go to sleep. Why is there ending? Don't be end, as long as you're continuing. As long as you're continuing, I might as well be relay the information, because I'm a person, because it's the entire reason, because I'm positive about it, because I don't have anybody that I'm singling out. You know what I'm talking about? What the fuck? It doesn't matter what you say. That's what I'm saying. I'm retarded, man. Like, accept me as that, whatever. I'm sick of this. Like, I don't have time to make this podcast, honestly. I don't have time to care. I don't have time to think about like caring about making this podcast or whatever. Anyway, see ya. Talk to you later. I literally don't know how to end it. Like, and that's my problem. That's like, if you, and I'm explaining to you, if you know me, you ever explain, you ever understand, you know me, like, you ever see me try to leave something? I can't because I don't know. I can't. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't know how to end. Because why it's just, that is when you end is decorum, final presentation. So let me end by explaining the point. Because it doesn't matter if I relay what pilfer is from differentiate, because if you could take a fucking moral away from it if you want to. Pilfer from differentiate from stealing. I'm saying that when you pilfer something, so I have to get passionate about this idea. When you pilfer something as opposed to stealing it, you tell them what pilfering is, like, you know what I mean? Tell them what pilfering is. Show them what pilfering, you better do it. You better show what pilfering pilfering. Oh, he's beautiful. He's adorable. Oh, like he's adorable. No, there's like not, yeah. There's nothing to be remembered about the way that I am. If you listen for 2 hours and 28 minutes, of course I understand that other people might perceive it as adorable. Of course I understand that. Christ. Duh. My dog just keeps walking around because he doesn't know. He's like, what's he doing? It's just like, it doesn't matter though, but I get worked up about it. I'm like, what's he doing? I get freaked out. I don't know what what's my dog doing? Because I can't measure like, that's what okay. But I just have to let it go, you know? It's like something I have to understand to do. Just to let go of things. Like, or something like that. But just, I'm carrying out this thing in my life or whatever, this and that, what I like, isn't that what you say? Anyway, because this is honestly because I can't explain what pilfering is. Like, do you tell them what pilfering is? Okay, here it is. Pilfering is thievery, but thievery is just, you have to differentiate between being a thief, something you thieved, which there isn't really a good word for that. Something you thieviated, something you thieveriated, that you thieveriated something from, you thieveriated. Oh, look at him. He's talking about thieveriation. You know how the diminishing returns on the more that, like, don't I understand that I'm a fucking lunatic the more that I don't relay the point, but it's just kind of funny. I'm sorry. I understand the law of diminishing returns on how much you persist to be a lunatic. Like, there's a point at which you have to just be understandable. There's really a point you have to come to, but really, as long as there's things to be agreed on at all, just say what the thing is that you are deeming yourself to have authority over. Like, like, and here it is, because I don't like... I have a problem explaining myself. Honestly. And it's the same, whatever it is the same connecting force as to why I can't end this podcast. Like I don't have time to end it. Like, I can't not finish this podcast, or like, God, but anyway, so pilfering is like, oh Christ. Like, I take it too far, like way too far, like more than is in the bounds, like realm of necessary for you to, like, consider yourself to take it. Like, oh wow, he really has a problem. Like, just like, well, no, I'm just being funny. Well, you're not being funny because it's a problem. No, it's not. It's time. It's gone into serious territory. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Like, I got to continue speaking about it. Like, as long as you're just gonna deem this to be a problem that I can't stop to relate it, then of course I'm gonna stay in fun territory where I don't have to explain it. Duh. Duh. Don't be mean to me. You have to be more patient than that. You have to be more patient than that. You have to respect my authority. You have to respect my authority to say pilfer. Like I don't allow myself to respect like whoever it is, whatever the audience, whoever I'm talking to. No, you don't respect me enough. Like for me to say that, like you don't respect me enough for me to say what a pilfer is versus stealing. So this is like personal now. Now it's just like something. Now it's just the focus is on me as a person because I make it about me as a person. Obviously, if you have a podcast, then you're just more narcissistic enough to make a podcast. Oh God, I wish this would end. But like, don't make it that you're being to be remembered. I need to fucking end this. I need to end this. I need to stop. Okay, so pilfering is thieving. Thieving, because you need to differentiate between thieving something and then pilfering something, because pilfering is kind of like a more petty it's kind of like a more petty theft, like a lesser degree of theft is lesser larceny, whatever, like less theft, whatever. It's a lesser degree of theft. Like thievery, like you can't pilfer a car, honest to God. And I'll tell you that straight away, you can't pilfer a car. You're not going to swing home after work, grab a beer, and then pilfer a car, and then go home. Like, you're not going to do that. You have to steal a car. You have to plan. You have to premeditate. Like, there's more energy gathered towards you stealing a car. Like, for you to use the term stealing. And so, but pilfer, let me tell you this story. Like, but anyway, so pilfering is just, okay, so I'm losing the train of thought. Just wait. Like, I want to not explain it. Ha, ha, ha. Anyway, so pilfer is a more specific thievery. Pilfer is a more specific thievery. Let me just understand through that I'm talking about pilfering, the difference between pilfering and thieving. Because what is thieve? What is the verb? Like, okay, so pilfer is like you can't just go, you can't go to work, whatever. You can't go from work and then pilfer a car. You can't skim a car on your way home because it is skimming, is what I'm telling to you. Pilfering is skimming. Is the same as skimming. Do you want to know what skimming is? Well, it's the same as pilfering. Do you know what pilfering is? It's the same as skimming. They're the same thing, because skimming is a petty form of you stealing something. Like, it's a superficial, you take from just the part, just from the top of it. Like if you were to go to pond scum, and if you go to like pond scum, if you're going to gather it at all, anyway, that if you're going to articulate that you have a verb sort of interaction, if you're going to articulate that you have a verb interaction to pond scum and your ability to gather it, then you understand that you skim scum. You skim scum is what you do. You skim it. Scum has to be skimmed in order for you to gather it. Scum is to be skimmed into pilfer, but like, it's not so much that it's related to pilfering in that sense. I'm just explaining what skimming is. Skimming is like you skim from the top of a pool. Like, if you were to collect the algae or whatever bacteria, debris, flotilla debris that's around you, if you were to gather that into your hand, you're skimming it. Like, you're skimming it, you have to skim. But like, pilfering is kind of like that. Pilfering is like you skim off the top of what's there in a thievery sort of sense. So it's like the relationship between thieving and skimming, or like whatever, if you want to look at it that way. There it is. Like, was that so hard? Okay, so then I ended it, but 2 hours 36 minutes and